All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Masters of the Universe, Masterverse Revelation Stinkor. And yeah, this is a really cool figure. I've kind of, I've fallen back on the Masterverse line a little bit. I've been picking up fewer and fewer of them. But I really like Stinkor because Stinkor is one of my absolute favorite Masters of the Universe characters just because of how ridiculous he is. Here he is with his nice skunk man aesthetic, nice head sculpt there with the painted yellow eyes, and I love the little like blue detail that they added to pick out the eyes. I think that really makes his eyes pop, and his little chompy jaw there, very cool. He's got a nice sort of fur texture all over him. I'm not sure. I think this is maybe the same sculpt that they use for Beastman. I don't have that one, so I can't say for sure, but that would be my presumption. And yeah, he's got nice armor here with the two sort of like gas tanks on his back. Very cool looking, adding a little extra blue to his color scheme here. He comes with a few accessories. First of all, he comes with two sets of hands. He comes with a grabbing hand for both right and left. And then on the right hand, he's got a closed fist, which is the one I have on here now. And for the left hand, he's got an open hand here. So, I mean, you could presumably, like the shield is, it's got a similar setup to He-Man's shield. It's not the same sculpt, but it's got a similar thing where it's got the two loops going on through there. And you could do that on the left side with the open hand if you wanted to. I tend to do it with the holding things hand, and because I like the fist more than the open hand, I put his shield on his left. So it can be a little bit tricky to get it in there, but it's not too bad once you kind of know what you're doing. Just looping it into his hand there, and then holding it like that, and that works pretty well. It's nice and firm on there. And he comes with an extra head sculpt with his like gas mask that he had in the show itself, and also the eyes are a bit more squinted. Now, what's really cool is the gas mask itself is actually removable, so you can see he's got a bit more of an open mouth there compared to the one that I have on him right now. But the only thing is it does have a peg hole right in the middle of his teeth there. So if that look messes with you, then either have the mask on or use this head. But both head sculpts look pretty good. I think prefer the one with the more open eyes, but it is cool to have that option there. And what's really nice is, because the gas mask is removable, you could have him like hold it with the other holding things hand. So it's like bringing it up to his face or something like that, and show that off here. And then why not? We'll just take his head sculpt here, just pop it off the ball joint. And it can be kind of tricky because it's got this like double ball joint section to get the other head on there, but there we go, good enough. And then you could have him, like holding the mask up to his face, or just plug it onto his face, whichever you prefer. I think the gas mask look is cool because it adds like again some more blue to his color scheme, but generally I think I prefer this head sculpt. But it is again cool that it has that option. That is a really satisfying sound. But yeah, so we can just take those extra accessories off to the side. In terms of articulation, he's pretty much par for the course with a lot of the other Masterverse characters. His head is on that dual ball joint section here, so you can get it to look up a little bit more. Because of the shape of his armor, it's a little bit hindered, but, it can still turn back and forth relatively okay. The shoulders here are just on a rotation joint and can rotate out to the side. He's got that bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow that, gets a pretty okay curl there. Mine's like chipping some plastic off just by rubbing the joints past each other. A little strange, but whatever. He's got a waist cut. He's got that, you can't see it here, but he does have that mid torso cut that you can get him to kind of tilt forward and back with, and a little bit side to side. The hips can go forward, back, out to the side, and the rubberiness of the loincloth kind of gets out of the way relatively well. He's got one of those ones that isn't quite as stiff, so it doesn't hinder it too much. He's got that thigh swivel, which of course is like cutting up the sculpt there, so it looks a little weird, but not the end of the world. A double jointed knee, which can be on some of these guys the joint tightness varies a lot. So let me try it on this side. Yeah, there we go. Got a pretty deep knee bend with the double knee. I don't know why that side is kind of stuck, but whatever. He's got a boot cut right here. And on this side, it's a little bit loose, at least like in some orientations, but again, not the end of the world. And then the feet can rotate forward and back a bit, and then also rotate side to side. But when they rotate, they, do that classic Masters of the Universe thing that's been on a lot of recent figures where the rotation of the foot also tilts the ankle. So like if you want them to just have this ankle tilted, you have to kind of use that boot cut to your advantage. So, pretty standard posability. Obviously, a lot of these figures use a lot of similar parts, so it's pretty unsurprising. You pretty much know if you have any other Masterverse figure that's like this body type, you pretty much know what you're getting into. The one thing with him is that because of the shape of his armor here, his arms don't really go like very tight onto his side. This is about as tight as his arms go, at least on my copy, which, works for a fairly good candid pose. But if you wanted him to be a little bit more tight to the side, then, you'd have to take off the armor or you wouldn't be able to do it. The armor, just like a lot of the armor pieces, it does have straps here, so you could take it off and like mix and match and stuff like that. I'm not going to bother to do it, but that is an option that is available. In terms of comparison, here he is first with Masterverse, He-Man, and Skeletor, just so you can see what they look like together. Very cool. Here he is with Origins, He-Man, and Skeletor. Obviously, very different vibes there, but that's what they look like together. And then here he is with Origins Stinkor and the Eternia Mini Stinkor. Just so you can see, pretty cool there. He's got a very more muted orange compared to a lot of the other like Stinkor designs. So again, it's kind of fitting in with the Masterverse designs, just being a little bit more like grounded and realistic rather than like bright neon-y colors. Like still bright colors, but definitely, less accosting to the eye. But yeah, the only other thing that's really worth talking about with him is just like what parts he shares with other figures. I don't know where the boots and the hands and the gloves come from. I haven't seen them on any other figures yet, because he does have like not just the regular He-Man hands, but he's got like sculpted like wrinkles and stuff because he's actually wearing gloves. So that's pretty cool. Again, I suspect that most of the first stuff comes from Beastman, but I can't say for sure. The loincloth is definitely He-Man's. The armor piece is obviously new. The head sculpt's obviously new. The lower, like the boot here, the top part of the boot, I think is new. I don't know if I've seen that on any other figure yet, but the feet are definitely Skeletor's feet, which makes sense because that's how it was originally as well. But it's cool that they gave him like new boots here. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about the guy. I think he looks really cool, and I love this as just like a realistic, more realistic interpretation of Stinkor, who is a really fun character in my opinion. But yeah, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Masters of the Universe Masterverse Revelation Stinkor.